Okay, let's go to working. You love work, play. Here, that was play. Now let's go to work. I was a consultant for a major insurance company, and they wanted to know more about what their best salespeople do. How are they different? You know, selling life insurance is notoriously difficult. And the hardest part of selling life insurance is getting prospects. You know, someone answers the phone, the guy says, I want to talk about your life insurance. Click, right? We're talking about death here, right? So, and any sales are difficult, but life insurance is one of the all-time greats, and it's also one of the greatest payment for the services. Remarkable.
Residuals are great.
Residuals, it's quite a thing. Very few can do it. So, okay, I interviewed a number of guys, and I had this guy named Rick. He was a young man, and I started looking at him. So I'm in New York City in their offices, and I interviewed him. I said, okay, tell me, Rick, show me, in fact, show me what you do. How are you so successful? And he said, okay. And I said, I'll pick up that phone and I'll show you. So he picks up the phone and he goes into his pitch. And he's calming me down. He's starting to hypnotize me on the telephone, selling me life insurance. Now, how do you get to do that? He had the ability to look at you and just calm you down, because the way he was very calm. Mickey, tell a story about what happened with the New Jersey police.
He was stopped by the New Jersey state trooper for speeding. I don't need that one. He was stopped by a New Jersey state trooper for speeding. So the cop pulls him over and Rick says, gee, officer, I'm very sorry. I guess I was speeding. He takes the ticket, doesn't make any complaint, and he hands the policeman his business card. And he says, you know, I sell life insurance. Possibly you or some of your friends don't have the proper life insurance. I'd love to come out and speak to you all. Cop took the card. Sure enough, several days later, they call him up. Rick goes to the New Jersey state trooper, sells them all life insurance that they didn't have. So you just never know. He just had the ability to say, I'm going to do it.
You're paid for his ticket, huh?
Absolutely.
And part of the secret to that, right from the get-go, with the guy who gave him the ticket, he didn't make a face, he didn't get bitter, he didn't get upset. He smiled and took the ticket from the cop and said, thank you very much, and I'll try not to do that again. That was a lie, but but he said it. So he was working with the guy, not fighting the guy. He still got a ticket, but he just went ahead and did it so magically. Okay, now let's talk about love. The performance of love. Let's start at the earliest time for love. Let's talk about a mother and a child, and how a child essentially has no ego, no awareness, no sophistication. They couldn't label anything. They can't speak. They're just la 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 la, beautiful, but just nothing there. And each day they grow a little bit, a little bit, and a little bit. And what emerges is this thing, the mind develops an ego, an awareness. It learns. It learns it because the mother loves the child, comforts the child, protects the child, sings, talks, does all these beautiful things. The child listens to that and feels more comfortable, gets hypnotized effectively, right? And then the child sees it as protection, and that's what love is, that beginnings. A loud sound would happen, and the child gets nervous because he can't figure this out. The mother rocks the child, talks very smoothly, And that's a performance. One of the most important performances in the world is a mother and a child. And all the things we're talking about tonight, it's just what happens. Okay, so let's go and talk about the kinds of performances there are. And the gold medal, you know, the Olympic is like the highest of high, the gold medal. But any kid who makes it to the Olympics gets a gold medal themselves because they're there. You know, they made it to the Olympics. So, and they are trained, they are superbly trained on these techniques of arousal, of attention focus, of awareness of things. It's just very high, sophisticated learning. Okay, let's talk about this now. Mickey and I will do a little demonstration. Hi, Mickey. How are you? Let's like to.
Hello, Bert. How are you?
Okay, what's going on? What's going on there?
No eye contact.
Because I didn't care. Too busy trying to figure out who's more important in the room. Now I'm going to do the one that really bugs me. All right, Bert?
Okay.
Oh,
The old limp hand. I mean, you wonder, why are you even shaking my hand?
And just think about that. Are you doing any of these things? You certainly have. It's being done to you. And boy, it's upsetting. Why the hell would someone look the other way when they're shaking my hand? Well, often it's because they're so insecure, they have to look that way because, you know, they don't have any value. They're just, you know, they're not good about things, or they're angry because they don't want to be there, or they don't like you anyway, period.
So here's the good handshake. And we look at each other, do a little flirting, but we do look at each other, and a nice firm handshake.
Okay, now let's look at another example. Everyone should learn how to flirt. You know, it's so powerful. I think if marriage is one of the most demanding performances you ever want, and 50% of the time there's a failure here, the marriage ends. Think about that. What kind of performance is that? 50% of the time you fail. Well, if you learn to flirt the right way, you know, you learn so much how to captivate people, how to be with them, how to get their attention, how to give them something. So the first person that comes along is not the one you marry, because you're so darn good at getting people's attention. You have the ability to look around calmly, look and look, test the water, and figure out who's the right person, versus just jumping because you're so desperate you don't know what to do next, because you don't have any skills at flirting.
And flirting is just not really between a man and a woman all the time. There's different ways to flirt. I'm going in for a job interview, and I walk into that room and I notice what is in that interviewer's office or in the boss's office. He may have a golf club there, he may have a stuffed fish there, he may have a lot of books there, but you notice those things, so then when you're talking to him, you're flirting with him. Gee, I see you're a golfer. Gee, I really love the sport. Or gee, I never really loved golf, but boy, my husband loves it, or my son loves it, etc. And then the flirting that Bert has put me on to, which I find horrible, but it's true. People flirt with death. How many times when people are taking drugs, they're flirting with death? If they're driving too fast in a car, if they're driving when they're drinking, or you see someone on a motorcycle, no helmet, on 75 going in and out of traffic, that's really flirting with death. So there's different ways, but you have to learn the proper way to flirt.
Yes, and if you look at the commercials that you really enjoy, that's what you get catching up with. You get into those commercials, or programs that you watch, or shows you watch. They're flirting with you, and they hook you. And it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a healthy way to connect with people. You're giving them something, they're giving you something. It doesn't mean it's sexual, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. No, it's a healthy way to be. So we've taken that word flirt and we stretched it. And that's what we do. We take performance and we stretch it. And when you learn to stretch things, they become more interesting. And you learn to think of things like you've never thought before. It's exactly what we do when we invent. We stretch and see things in colors, and you can taste it. Every sense is working, highly alive. Can you imagine if you were meeting someone and you're 22 years of age or 24 or whatever, and you talk to the opposite sex with those kinds of attitudes versus drugs versus whatever you're going to get into. The healthy connections you make, the healthy flirting you make, it's fun. Everyone has fun, and it's very uplifting. Okay, now besides that, performances, real quick, there's a couple of other ones. You know, sometimes being quiet is a performance. You learn to listen. You give nonverbal clues and you help and you touch the person. My God, that's a beautiful performance at the right time when the person needs it. Not what your ego says, I want to tell you about who I am and what I do. No, you see them as hurting and you help them and you're there for them, and it happens with no words. Wow, now you stretched performance into the situation where there's no words, strictly nonverbal. Who would ever think of that? You always have to talk to everyone. No, you just look. And I love looking at the young girls myself. And if I stop, then that would be very bad. Mickey would never want me to stop.
And then also dressing for the occasion. I mean, how many times, if you knew tomorrow you're going to meet the President of the United States, I'm sure you would wear something very nice. You would dress for the occasion. Another pet peeve of mine is, how many times do you go to church and you're going to the house of God, you're meeting the most important person, and people just dress any old way, they don't care how they look. You know, and I know it's good that they're even going. I think it's good that they're even going, but I think there should be some respect there when they go. Okay,
Go,
that's something.
in effect, go the extra step.
Yep.
You know, I'm wearing this, why? I'm saying to all of you, I respect you.
And you're important to us.
I want to give you the best. My tie is way below my belt. So I'm in graduate school. I'm 25 years of age. I'm going to school on West 57th Street in Manhattan. And this 15-year-old kid walks up to me, and he sees me with my tie so long, and he looks at me, and he says, why do you got that? My father's tie is up to here. Why are you doing that? And I looked at the kid, I said, well, you know, there's a lot of reasons, but it gets your attention, didn't it? You know, I got your attention. And we're talking about this. You know, if I were like everyone else, you wouldn't be talking to me now. I'm different. I want to be different. I work at being different. So the kid says, you mean that's what I should do? I said, absolutely, that's what you should do. Well, he is...
And he said to you said to him, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
And the kid's, you know, he's 15. He said, you know what I want to do? I want to be in real estate. I want to build big, beautiful buildings. I mean, I really got great. I said, hey, this is wonderful. I love your imagination. He said, 57th Street, Manhattan, one of the most important streets in the world. I said, yeah, all those museums and all these buildings and universities and concert halls. He said, okay, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. It's one of the places I'm going to build a building. I said, okay, so I'll be seeing you now. You're going to do it. And by the way, what's your name? The kid says, Donald Trump. And I said, I don't know who you are, but that sounds cool.
Notice Donald Trump's ties.
So you know it's Donald Trump's ties? Of course it is. Everything I tell you is true.